and I was able to sell at $22 a share for a 250% return. What's going on, guys? I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. Happy Sunday to you, August 8th. If you are new to the channel, please drop a sub. That would be super appreciated. We have a lot of fun on the channel, and we're all about making money and staying positive. Today's video is I am just sharing some of the winners of my portfolio that I am either still currently holding or that I sold off because of the pandemic. And these are all companies that I bought during the pandemic for a particular price, not at the low, but close to the low, and then was able to sell or still hold for a really good gain or return. And this isn't to flex or do anything like that on you guys. It is strictly to challenge you to get into the market. And even at the current levels, we're not at bottom, but we're also not at the highs. And there are great value in a lot of consumer stocks that were severely beaten down by the pandemic. And if you were like myself and you believe that this is not going to be around for the next 2 to 3 years, I would challenge you to get in at these levels. So without further ado, these are 4 companies that I currently own or did own not too long ago that I'm extremely glad with. First up, and probably the most least exciting, is Microsoft. I was able to get a bunch of shares of Microsoft for $165 a share, and currently right now I'm sitting about 20% gain on those. And why I say it's the least exciting is because it's big tech. Big tech always does good. Microsoft's always going to be around and it's always going to pay well. They always keep their dividend, but hey, they were at lows when the market's getting crushed. Typically, absolutely everything is down at a certain point. Didn't get it at its lows, but big tech was able to hunt and find Microsoft for $165. So super glad about that. The next 2 companies I targeted because I specifically did not think that the pandemic was going to be as horrible as everybody thought it was at the current time. And I was kind of operating under the assumption that we would be out of this within a year or two. And I bought shares of Norwegian Cruise Lines at $8.50 a share, which I was able to lucky enough to absolutely get that at the very bottom. And I was able to sell at $22 a share for a 250% return. And right now they've actually returned to levels at $13 because of the resurgence in cases and kind of all the reclosures and everything that we've been doing. But Norwegian Cruise Lines was severely hit, and they do have enough cash on hand to survive essentially 1 year of not running a single cruise. So I think that we will be out of this in a year, one year from now. Absolutely. I think we're going to be well on the way to a vaccine, if not already have one. And I think we're going to have learned to cope with this. And there's a lot of people who love going on cruises, and I don't see them kind of stop going on cruises as long as they're offered. So Norwegian, maybe at $13 a share. I might think about getting back into it. I'm not totally sure, but that was one big winner for me. Another company which I'm currently holding, and I'm super glad that I did, was Boeing. I bought it at $112 a share, and right now at its current price, recording this video, I'm sitting about a 25% gain. I was up almost double on my money, so right around 100% gain. And then the second wave kind of came back. But why Boeing is so interesting and why I love Boeing as a company is right there. They're heavily involved. They make airplanes. So all the airlines they buy. But the thing that I love most is Boeing is a defense contractor, so they get all the spending from the United States government. And if you know anything about the government does not let companies like Boeing ever go under. They bailed out the automotive companies in the financial recession of 2008. Boeing is a huge defense contractor. They are not going to let them go under. The other thing I love about Boeing is, yes, they suspended their dividend, but once we get out of this pandemic, they're going to begin paying that dividend. They were one of the highest paying dividends before this pandemic hit. So I anticipate Boeing to returning to half, or let's say like 3/4 of its old share price in the next 3 to 5 years, and return with that dividend as well. So my investment is going to probably 150, 200% easy. I'm anticipating at the end of 5 years. So that's one thing I'm really excited about. Lastly is Disney, and Disney I was able to get at a 5-year low, something that I was ecstatic about. I was able to get it at $84 a share, and right now at its current levels I'm sitting at a 38% gain. And one thing why Disney was hit pretty bad was because parks were closed. You had movie theaters closed, which means Disney isn't making movies. They're not making all that content that you typically see in the theaters. The only thing that Disney really had going for it was its Disney Plus streaming service. And it did see record numbers in downloads and subscriptions and everything like that. In Hamilton too, being put on the platform increased the downloads by a substantial amount. But Disney was another company that was paying a nice dividend before the pandemic hit, and they've suspended it. So I anticipate Disney to begin to start paying that dividend here in the next year or two. So I'm not saying this to flex on you guys or anything like that. I'm rather just challenging you to look for deals in the market today. And if you believe that the consumer, once they are allowed to, is going to get back out in full force and keep spending, flying, traveling, vacationing, living it up like us Americans know how to, I think that several companies that are beaten down are going to do just fine. And personally, I've been putting a lot of money into airlines. I know I have shares, like I said, in Boeing, but that also has the safe backing from the US government. Airlines are getting bailed out by the government and lots of money. And when we're out of this, I don't see airlines really taking a hit. People are gonna fly, we're gonna travel, we're gonna wanna go to Florida, we're gonna wanna go to Puerto Rico, we're gonna wanna go everywhere. So I think airlines, they're still down 200% from their highs. They paid dividends before all this. And I'm going to be making a video pretty soon about airlines and why I think they're such a good investment. But I'm not saying go out and buy airlines. I'm not a financial advisor. I would just say look for deals like airlines, companies you believe in that you think are at a pretty low price, and get in. And in 5 years, you are going to look back and be glad you did. So without further ado, I know the moment that you all tune in for is the fact, right? That's all we care about. But knowledge is important, and I think we should get all the kids on here because I don't think they're really learning in a virtual environment, but that's beside the point. Today in history, August 8th, 480, right? That's with a 0480. The Persian army defeats Leonidas and the Spartan army at the Battle of Thermopylae, Persia. That is an awesome movie, so I was like, why not? The people are gonna love it. The movie was awesome. Super cool fact. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the weekend. I will see you tomorrow, and have a great day.